All right, guys. Just quickly, really proud of our kids. I thought, man, a really special football game for our football team. Obviously, some mistakes early, and the character, the heart, and I think the integrity of this team in every way, shape, and form showed itself when we needed it the most. So, really proud of our team. And with that said, I'll open up to any questions you got.
All right, our first question will be from Travis Hines of the Ames Tribune. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Travis.
Hey, Matt, you said last week how important making adjustments offensively on the fly was, and I was wondering if that would pave the way for the improvement offensively tonight, or if it was something else.
Well, yeah, man. I don't, I think in reality, I thought we were pretty good rhythm. I throughout the entirety of the game, we just had some simple mistakes, that occurred. That obviously the turnover piece, right? I mean, I don't think it was at all play calling or scheme. It was just a little bit of a lack of precision early. And give those guys credit. I like I told you before. I think I said this earlier in the week. I think you were playing a championship caliber defense, a defense that I was really impressed with on the film. And tip your hat to them. They made some plays. We weren't great early, but I thought how we responded was really indicative of kind of what our team was. But I don't know if it was anything schematically this week that was anything. I think it was a little bit more of a lack of precision early.
Did you see that precision kind of click into place there? I guess late in the first half or early in the second.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and again, when you got the caliber of players that we have in terms of guys that have proven to do it at an elite level, yeah, I think you don't panic. And obviously, it's one of those things for me that I really appreciate about who our team is some of the guys that made some mistakes tonight are guys that you trust and they're going to come right back and you're going to get their best. And obviously they proved it again tonight of who they are. I think that's what's special about life and really special about our sport is, you're never defined when things are going great. You're defined by what you do when things are really tough and really hard. And I think those guys showed who they really are in some adverse situations tonight.
Thanks. Our next question is from Jared Stansbury at Cyclone Fanatics. Go ahead, Jared.
Coach, after Brock threw the pick six right there at the end of the first half, you pulled him aside on the sideline before the offense went back out on the field. What did you tell him in that moment, and what was your message to Brock after those mistakes that he'd made early in the game?
Well, I just kind of said I said I don't bet a whole lot, but if I was betting, man, things were kind of not going our way, and at some point they probably were going to go our way. So don't panic. We're fine. And the reality of it is I thought he did a great job keeping his composure. Some of those things, we'll go back and look at the film, were those Brock's mistakes, were they a route, were there a leakage in protection. But you know what, when you're the quarterback, man, hey, it's like it's not easy. And you better be a tough hombre, and he's about as tough as I know and, is about as special of a competitor as I've ever been around.
Kenne's kick return. Obviously, after they were able to get the field goal at the beginning of the second half, I mean, how big was that?
Yeah, first of all, our defense holding them to a field goal there, I thought was really big. And again, you're talking about Greg Eisworth. I mean, the foundation of our football team in a lot of ways too. And for them to rally up, cause a field goal in that situation, keep it a two-score game, and then obviously for Kene, how many times have I said this now? I think 3, right? That kickoff return was really the momentum changer in our football game. And so, Kene's had that with a run. Kene's had that with a kick return. And, he did it again tonight with an elite kick return.
Our next question is from Randy Pearson of the Des Moines Register. Go ahead, Randy.
Matt, kind of going back to what you said in your opening remarks, but Iowa State, before you got here, loses a game like this. Is it, like I said, going back to kind of what you said earlier, is it recruiting? Is it coaching? Is it the talent? What is it?
I think from our end, it's been building within the senior classes that we've had, and I really just believe it that it's been tonight was about our seniors, and tonight, we've got a group that has refuse to allow anybody around this program to hang their head, to take a step back, and they breathe confidence in everybody in every situation. And I really appreciate that about this entire group. And I think that's been building here in a lot of ways. I think every senior class has gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. And I've said this multiple times. I think this group is really, really special. So I really just think it's about buy-in. It's about a refuse to lose mentality. And I hate it about football, and I love it about football. You hate it because no game is ever the same. You can't control some of the things that occur in a game. Things happen. What you can control is your attitude. You can control how you respond to tough and trying times, and you can respond to adversity. And I think this senior class has really gotten that message. They understand that. They've lived through really good days here and really tough days here. And I think they have a mentality that allows this group to just keep pounding away. And we talk all the time, man, you can't look at the scoreboard. You just got to play 60 minutes. You got to do your job really well. And if something bad happens, man, you got to go play the next play. And our kids have demanded to do that this fall. And obviously, there's areas we got to continue to do to get better. But I really appreciate that mentality. And I think, Randy, the answer to the question would be our senior classes.
Matt, was there a senior or two that kind of took over the locker room at halftime?
Yeah, I think the neat thing for us is there's so many of those guys. You got Jaquan Baylor, you got Greg Eisworth, you got Sean Foster, you got Chase Allen, Dylan Sainer. We're so fortunate that I think that's the neat thing about this group is it's not just one guy. It's all 16 of these guys pulling in the same direction at the same time. And obviously, and I've said this, I think what makes it a unique challenge here is you don't have the human erasers and you don't have all the five-star this and that, but what we can have here is five-star culture and five-star leadership. And I think these guys at least understand that, have bought into that. So we are really fortunate that it's never just one guy. It's really seemed to me like it's been a united effort, and for that I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our next question is from Ben Visser of the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Coach. Mike Rose with another, huge game, 11 tackles, couple tackles for a loss, couple pass breakups, and obviously that interception to clinch it. What did you see out of him tonight, and what makes him so special?
Yeah, Ben, I feel like I'm on repeat with Mike a little bit, and that's a good thing. I think for me, what Mike Rose is doing is playing at such an elite level that he's demanding that the country and the world look at him and say, man, this guy's one of the best defensive football players in college football. And he's earned that because of how he plays week in and week out. To me, Mike started his career that way, really grew last year when he made an unselfish decision to move to Sam linebacker. I think, again, I would tell you, you go into quarantine, and the guy that every morning you try to touch base with a couple guys, and Mike's one of my guys that I'm responsible for, and that guy's up before, half the country is training his little brother at home, and, he was on a mission. And, again, when's that going to show? Well, that's going to show what you do in the dark when nobody's watching is going to show when the lights are the brightest. And Mike is proving who he is when the lights are the brightest, and we're really proud of him. And obviously we wouldn't be the team we are without what he's done for this program right now.
I asked a lot about killer instinct during the week. Is that a killer instinct play that he made?
Oh, I think everything Mike Rose does is killer instinct, to be honest with you. He is he's a young man that has displayed elite traits and elite qualities in everything he does. And, man, I wish I could bring you into practice on Tuesday and Wednesday, because that same play, mentality, work ethic is really what he brings in terms of how he practices every day. And, very similar in a lot of ways to what David Montgomery brought to the offense as he really changed this program in a lot of ways. And Mike resembles that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our next question is from Zane Douglas of the Iowa State Daily.
Hi, Matt. I just kind of wanted to ask, I know you talked about this before, but how kind of poetic is it that two five-year seniors made kind of the biggest special teams plays today and Kane landed?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I'm on repeat a little bit with these senior class. These are guys that are refusing to lose, and in the heat of the moment, in the most critical moments, you need your seniors. And if you want to have a great team, again, I don't care what sport it is, your seniors have to play their best football or their best their senior year. And to me, that's one of the things that this team is getting. Like you said today, obviously, Kane and Landon come up with two huge plays, and we're really proud of those guys.
And then it was kind of a tale of two halves, just a little bit. Sorry to use a cliche term there, but what do you think, or what kind of happened? Was it a halftime thing, or what do you think happened to the offense, I guess, the second half and the first half?
Well, like I said, I think the offense was moving the football with some consistency in the first half. Our lack of precision a little bit. Anytime you turn the ball over 3 times, that's never a positive. And I just think it was a matter of recentering, refocusing, getting back to fundamentals and technique, and then coming back and really executing. And so that's what we saw in the second half. I think we've shown a lot of consistency of the ability to do that. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to have nights like that. Sometimes that's how it's going to roll. The key is it can't roll that way for the entirety of a game if you want to win. So, I think you got to have some of those nights. I think you got to have some of those challenges, and you got to have the ability to respond. And if you do, and you got that kind of character and you got that kind of talent, then you can give yourself a chance to win. And I thought our kids did that tonight.
Next question is from Jared Stansbury of Cyclone Fanatics. Go ahead, Jared.
Tonight was the first time Iowa State had blocked a punt since 2009. What went into the decision to try and go for that? And is that something that you guys have been working on here over the last several weeks building up to that?
Man, what a bad stat that is, right, Jared? Holy smokes. So, I mean, I think the fact of the matter of it is, like, we've got really good guys on, and we've been inches away in some moments. And to be honest with you, I thought we were able to make a play in a critical moment. So, bad stat that you brought up, positive result for the Cyclones. We don't have to talk about that stat anymore. So I appreciate it. And, I think for us, we just got to keep plugging away. But it was obviously a critical time and a critical play for us.
The last couple of years, we talked a lot about Ray Lima being an unsung hero for the defense. In your mind, has Isaiah Lee kind of stepped up and filled a role a lot like that here so far this season?
Man, I thought Jared tonight, and I'm glad you talked about Isaiah because I thought he was incredible tonight. Some of the draw plays that they've hit that have been big plays, whether it was the tailback draw or the quarterback draw, man, I thought Isaiah was incredible. And I really think the rotation that's gone on there at that nose guard position with Isaiah continue to get better and better. Josh Bailey, I thought played good football again tonight, and Latrell Bankston made some huge plays as well. I just think it continues to talk about that group, and I think their improvement, and that's a young group in terms of football reps, and those guys keep getting better and better, and we'll obviously need them at their best in the stretch run. But I've been really proud of them, and obviously I thought Isaiah was exceptional tonight.
Our next question is from Stephen McDaniel of the Iowa State Daily. Go ahead.
How's it going, Coach? So I know in that first half, the defense kind of struggled a little bit, especially, just kind of off turnovers, and Baylor had a lot of luck with, points off turnovers. But then just that second half was just completely different. I'm just kind of curious, like, what you saw with the main differences between that first half defense and the second half defense.
Well, I don't think they were put in such compromising positions. I think the reality of the first half, those are hard positions to work out of, and I don't care how good you are defensively. That's tough, especially against Charlie Brewer, who we know is, I said that this week, a championship-level quarterback. He's proven that. They've got really talented skill players, and I thought, again, we gave them an opportunity to execute because of the situations we put our defense in a little bit early on. But, I think just like the offense, they just kept playing. And they made a couple big plays, and I thought we were able to settle in and have the ability to respond with really good efficiency and precision for the most part in the second half.
And then if you just had to pick out one play throughout this game that you kind of felt was like a turning point, I don't know, what kind of play would you choose? There was the, Tavon Kyle interception, the Kiane Nwangu return.
Yeah, I think Kane's, to me, I felt the momentum change in the game a little bit on the sideline when Kane hit that big return. And so, I really felt like that was a huge play in the game. And then, obviously I thought the block punt was a chance for us to really, kind of separate ourselves a little bit in the football game.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Our next question is from Randy Peterson of the Des Moines Register. Go ahead, Randy.
Matt, you talked about the pod system last week during one of your availabilities with us. How would you evaluate this most recent 3-game pod that you guys had?
Yeah, I think the reality of the middle pod is, are you going to be a contender or pretender? And the fact of the matter of it is, you got to gut through it, and you got to put yourself in position to play meaningful games in the third pod, and this group has done that. And so I think for us now, it's a matter of, can we stay the course? I mean, man, you're not even talking about staying the course of getting better at football. You're talking, can we keep our players healthy? Can we stay in practice? Can we continue to guide and grow? I think this 18 to 22-year-old group, boy, they're facing a challenge of a lifetime, that it's not just about football. It's about everything else as well. So, but I thought that was really what Pod 2 was about. Are you going to be a contender or a pretender? And obviously this group has persevered and put itself in the position to continue to play meaningful games in the month of November.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, our next question is from Jeff Beecham of KGAN. Go ahead, Jeff.
Already, but for him to break the all-time especially what does that also improve upon that throwing a couple?
Yeah, and I apologize. I feel like you were breaking up just a little bit, so it was hard to hear. But I think you were talking about Brock and maybe a passing record tonight. And to me, if that was the question, if that's what occurred, then what I would say is it's pretty fitting that Brock's had to come up the rough side of the mountain his entire career, and a night like tonight wasn't the easy side of the mountain; it was the rough side of the mountain. And Brock, instead of slipping and falling, kept climbing. And I think it's pretty poetic that on a night like tonight, where things didn't maybe start out the best, he kept climbing and persevering.
All right, that's all the questions we have for you, Coach Campbell. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.